At the time of this recording, Elon Musk, the visionary founder of SpaceX and Tesla, would survive for an astounding 3,276,948 years. If he were to live on the average American salary of $56,516 per year, to put this into perspective, even if you managed to save an extraordinary 50% of your salary every year, it would take you 6.5 million years to accumulate wealth equivalent to Elon's fortune. That's longer than human civilization has existed. I know what you're thinking. Okay, I get it. We can't all become the richest person on the planet. But surely accumulating $1 million isn't that difficult, right? Let's break this down with some sobering math that might change how you view wealth forever. If you're an average engineer earning $80,000 annually, it would take 16 years just to earn $1 million in total income. But that's before considering essential expenses like rent, food, utilities, healthcare, and other living costs. If you diligently save 10% of your earnings, it would take a staggering 156 years to save your way to $1 million. For the average teacher, 217 years. A hardworking bartender, 625 years. I promise you that what you're about to learn will contain surprising revelations that could completely transform your financial future. The information in this video has the potential to change your life in ways you never imagined possible. If you apply these principles, your relationship with money will never be the same again. Before we continue, please subscribe to the Evolution Code, leave a like, comment your thoughts below, share this video with someone who needs this knowledge. Together, we can help more people evolve and break free from financial struggle. For the truly wealthy, wealth isn't measured in dollars, it's measured in time. Ask yourself, if you lost your job tomorrow, how many days, months, or years could you survive on your savings without lowering your standard of living? That is the real definition of wealth. So how long could you survive? This book will provide you with the crucial financial intelligence that most of us never received growing up. These are the hidden financial secrets wealthy families passed down through generations, knowledge that both the education system and probably your parents failed to teach you. The absence of this vital information is precisely why so many people remain trapped in the exhausting rat race, working paycheck to paycheck until retirement, never achieving true financial freedom. By the end of this comprehensive breakdown, you'll understand 95% of everything this revolutionary book has to offer. You'll gain a bird's-eye view of the most important concepts and transformative quotes that will forever change your perception of wealth and guide you confidently on your journey toward financial independence. Let's dive into the wisdom of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The story begins with two contrasting father figures. One has walls decorated with impressive degrees and diplomas, while the other is a humble high school dropout. One will leave almost nothing behind after death, except mounting debt, while the other will die as one of the wealthiest men in Hawaii, passing down a thriving business empire to his children. The rich dad mentors to young boys on how to best utilize their minds and limited time to create lasting wealth through strategic investments and business ownership. This powerful narrative illustrates the fundamental difference between saying "I couldn't afford that" versus asking "How can I afford that?" The poor dad frequently proclaimed, "I'll never be rich," and his negative prophecies became his reality. The rich dad, however, even after experiencing bankruptcy and having literally $0 to his name, would confidently state, "I'm a rich man," as Rich Dad wisely observed. There's a profound difference between being poor and being broke. Broke is temporary, a financial situation. Poor is eternal, a mindset. The poor and middle class work tirelessly for money, while the rich have mastered the art of making money work relentlessly for them. When Robert Kiyosaki was just 9 years old, he and his best friend Mike approached Rich Dad to learn the secrets of making money. Soon, they were both working within Rich Dad's business empire. There was just one problem there. Salary was a mere 10 cents per week, practically slave wages. Robert seriously contemplated quitting each week that passed. Who is this man to exploit children for just 10 cents a week? He would ask himself indignantly. It was at this pivotal moment that Rich Dad delivered their first profound lesson about money. Life pushes all of us around. Some people surrender and give up, while others fight back. If you truly learn the lesson and move forward, you'll actually welcome life's challenges. they become opportunities. Most people abandon their jobs simply because they feel underpaid. They would have already quit this arrangement. But the wealthy see these situations differently, as golden opportunities to learn and grow. Rich Dad revealed one of life's greatest traps. Most people work exceedingly hard for minimal pay, desperately clinging to the illusion of job security, meager 3-week vacations, and inadequate pension plans that barely sustain them in their golden years. People's financial lives are perpetually controlled by two powerful emotions: fear and greed. Here's how this destructive pattern typically unfolds. Your fear of financial insecurity motivates you to work harder. Then the paychecks arrive, triggering your desire for nicer cars, trendier clothes, bigger homes. You want more things, so you work even harder for that promotion. The pattern becomes firmly established, and you're trapped within it. You get up, commute to work, return home exhausted, and pay endless bills. Your increased earning inevitably leads to increased spending. This is the infamous rat race that keeps millions locked in financial servitude. To break the boys out of this 9-to-5 mentality driven by fear and greed, Rich Dad eventually reduced their wages to zero. Robert didn't dare tell his poor dad that he was now working for nothing. They began working purely for knowledge, and Rich Dad challenged them to devise ways to generate their own income streams independently. One day, the boys noticed discarded comics lying around one of Rich Dad's stores. This sparked an inspiration to launch their first business venture. They collected outdated comics, established a small library in their basement, charged classmates 10 cents for entry. They even paid Robert's sister $1 weekly to manage operations. Before they realized it, they were earning $9.50 weekly without lifting a finger. Their money was working for them. This was the beginning of their transformative journey. Not working to earn money, but making money work tirelessly for them. Securing a job is merely a short-term solution to cover expenses. The long-term challenge is systematically building your net worth. As your income increases, human nature dictates that your expenses rise accordingly, driven by fear and desire. Once caught in this cycle, you're forced to work for others your entire life. It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep and grow. If you're looking to educational institutions to make you wealthy, you're searching in the wrong place. The conventional education system's primary objective is training compliant employees, not successful entrepreneurs or investors. Critical skills like managing personal finances and building sustainable wealth aren't taught in schools. You must take responsibility for acquiring this knowledge yourself and using it to accumulate assets that generate passive income. The first fundamental pillar of financial literacy in escaping the rat race is understanding the critical difference between assets and liabilities. An asset puts money in your pocket. Liability takes money out of your pocket. Let's examine the basic income statement. Your income is money flowing into your pocket. Expenses represent money flowing out for necessities like rent, food, utilities. An asset allows its owner to generate income consistently. Liability, conversely, creates ongoing expenditures. This is the cash flow pattern of an asset. It pays you. This is the cash flow pattern of a liability. You pay it. Rich people acquire assets. Poor and middle class acquire liabilities they mistakenly believe are assets. Cash flow reveals the true story of how someone handles money. The poor person's cash flow: they have a job, receive a salary, spend their entire income on expenses, and typically live paycheck to paycheck with nothing left to invest. The middle-class cash flow: they have jobs and receive regular salaries. But most of their money is tied up in what they believe are assets, but are actually liabilities. Mortgages, car loans, credit card debt, and taxes. They believe their home is an asset, only to eventually discover their liability column overflowing with mortgage and consumer debt. The rich person's cash flow: the wealthy constantly seek ways to expand their asset columns. Their primary income source comes from assets acquired over time, not from trading their time for money. Your home is not an asset. By focusing primarily on homeownership, you're building a liability rather than a true asset. Most people labor their entire lives paying for homes they may never fully own, committing to 30-year mortgages they're permanently tied to. You must pay property taxes, maintenance expenses, and insurance, and the value of your property doesn't always appreciate as expected. Perhaps most importantly, the biggest cost of homeownership is opportunity cost. the potential investments you miss because your capital is locked in an illiquid property. When all your resources are tied up in mortgage payments flowing through your expense column, they can't be allocated to building your asset column. Consider all the investment experience and opportunities you forfeit when exclusively focused on residential real estate. Examples of true assets: income-generating rental properties where tenant payments cover mortgage costs, businesses that operate profitably without your daily presence, dividend-paying stocks and investment funds, bonds and interest-bearing instruments, intellectual property generating royalties, digital assets creating passive income. For Poor Dad, a home represented an asset to be proud of. For Rich Dad, a home was simply a liability that drained resources. Poor Dad's income statement features inflated liabilities, eating away at income. Rich Dad's income statement shows a steadily growing asset column, generating passive income. Most people repeatedly fall into this trap because they lack financial literacy. They don't grasp the fundamental relationship between balance sheets and income statements. If you blindly follow what the masses do, this is your destiny. You effectively work for three masters. The company, your salary makes the owner and shareholders wealthy, while you trade time for money. The bank, your mortgage and credit cards enrich financial institutions through interest payments. The government takes a substantial portion of your earnings before you even see the money. The harder you work in a traditional job, the more you pay in taxes. In many countries, every dollar earned from January 1st to mid-March goes directly to the government. That's 2.5 months annually. Compounded over a 40-year career, that's nearly 6 years of your life working exclusively for the tax collector. The wealthy understand this reality. The masses don't. The main ways to escape the rat race: fully comprehend the difference between assets and liabilities. Focus your energy on acquiring assets that generate positive cash flow. Minimize expenses and debts to absolute necessities. Mind your own business. Life isn't about how much money you earn, it is about how much you retain and grow across generations. The key to achieving this lies in financial literacy. Understanding the difference between assets and liabilities is fundamental. The rich build and acquire assets. The poor and middle class accumulate liabilities they mistakenly believe are assets. The rich obsessively focus on their asset columns, while everyone else fixates on their income statements. Robert Kiyosaki's first professional position was unglamorous, a photocopier salesman for Xerox. Using his wages wisely, he invested in apartment buildings. After just 3 years, the revenue generated from these investments exceeded his salary, allowing him to leave Xerox and focus on his growing business empire. Real assets worth your attention. Businesses that operate profitably without your daily presence. Stocks with growth potential and dividend income. Bonds providing reliable interest income. Generating real estate properties. Notes or IOS where you're the lender. Royalties from intellectual property, digital assets, websites, cryptocurrency, and other modern investments. Once a dollar enters your asset column, never let it leave. Feed your asset column consistently and watch it grow exponentially. Robert views every dollar in his asset column as a tireless employee. Each dollar in my asset column was a great employee, working to make more employees to buy the boss a new Porsche. The true beauty of money is that it works 24/7 and can continue working for generations after you've gone. Don't confuse your profession with your business. The middle class concentrate on their professions, consequently spending their lives building someone else's business. The wealthy focus on building their own business empires. Your profession only addresses the income section of your personal financial statement. Your business revolves around systematically building your asset column on your balance sheet. Thank you for watching this far. This is just part 1 of our 2-part deep dive into the wealth-building secrets of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you found this video valuable and want to see Edison freed from his bottle prison, please like, comment, subscribe to the Evolution Code, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss part 2 and more life-changing content coming soon. Remember, your financial freedom journey begins with the knowledge you're acquiring right now. Share this video with someone who needs this wisdom. Together, we can help more people evolve and escape the rat race forever.